start is when you're ready. I mean, off that.
Good afternoon. My name is Jenny Parks. I'm the president and CEO of the Lano Foundation, and all of us today are excited to be here to talk about work-based learning. At the Lano Foundation, we are playing an intermediary role, which means that we are a convener. We catalyze things, we collaborate with people, we focus on education from early childhood into college and career. And today we're going to be talking about some of our college and career work. We've come together in a very exciting way with employers, nonprofits, and the Santa Fe Public Schools for a new program called Level Up. And that's what we're going to be talking about, as well as some of the programming at the Santa Fe Public Schools now with Jose on board. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Toby, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm Toby Baker-Wright, and I'm the C3 consultant with the Lano Foundation, who is helping to convene this work. And it's been a real privilege to work with each person at this table. I'd love to kick off by having each person just share who you are, what organization you represent, and maybe your role in the work-based learning ecosystem. Let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. Hello there. My name is Lutz Arnold. I'm the managing director at the Rosewood of the Anasazi. And I have decided some time ago that we don't just want to bitch about labor shortage, we want to do something about it. So we have reached out to several partners, most importantly to the Lano Foundation, that helped us to facilitate what today is a very exciting program, and it's called Level Up. We will speak about this more in detail moving forward, but it's really important to us that we found someone that not only facilitates and drives the program, but also has the tools and means to connect private sector with schools and educators in Santa Fe. We're very grateful for that, and I give it to one representative of public schools. I think the most brilliant thing that happened most recently in Santa Fe is hiring a work-based learning coordinator. Jose Villarreal has been tremendously helpful for our program that we will discuss about in a minute. I'll give it to you, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz Arnold. Hello, everyone. I am Jose Villarreal. I am the work-based learning coordinator for Santa Fe Public Schools, and it is a new position. However, I am not new to work-based learning. I am actually the founder and manager of the comprehensive work-based learning program in Farmington Municipal Schools. Definitely brought a lot of the product, the tools, the model with me here to Santa Fe. Super excited to be in Santa Fe to bring this to life. And we are indebted to the Lano Foundation for introducing us to these amazing hoteliers who are just, it's an employer-driven model, which is truly how work-based learning should operate. And we'd love to talk more about that. And I don't want to talk too much about myself because I think I have another question that is going to talk about my role. But yes, love the work that we're doing so far. And we're super excited that it's going to launch here in the next coming days. I will hand off the mic and introduce Lucia, who's from Future Focus.
My name is Lucia Duncan, and I am the Alumni and Internship Director for Future Focused Education, which is an internship intermediary based out of Albuquerque, and also Communities and Schools of Northern New Mexico based in Santa Fe. These two organizations started a partnership a couple of years ago to really focus on the transition of youth as they're finishing high school. So primarily working with students that have been case managed by Communities and Schools. They've received wraparound supports. There's some of the students that face the most challenges, in K-12 settings, and helping them through that transition to work and to higher education. Overall, Future Focused Education has placed over 500 internships in the state of New Mexico, and we're starting small here in Santa Fe, but really developing partnerships and eager to work with employers and and the district and other organizations to do work-based learning.
Fantastic. My name is Rick Blythe. I'm the general manager of the Fonda Hotel here at Santa Fe, and also this year the president of the Santa Fe Lodgers Association. The impetus for this work-based learning program and why Lutz and myself and Vicente Perry, who's the general manager of Four Seasons, really got involved and decided to drive this forward with the help of LANL and the public school system as well, is because there is no formalized program for educating young Santa Feans in the hospitality and tourism industry. And as a tourism town, we felt that was unacceptable. So all of us came up working hourly jobs, starting in myself as a dishwasher, and Lutz, I think, as well, a busboy or dishwasher. And look where we've gotten through hard work and determination and work ethic and wanting to succeed. You can also do that. I was lucky in my career, early in my career, can't even call it a career. I was lucky to have a mentor who told me what could be accomplished if I really put my mind to it and worked my way up through the industry. And I want to give that back. It's time for me to be a mentor for some of the young Santa Feans who will hopefully enter into our program and someday sit in my seat. Thank you.
I think I already introduced myself. Ladle Foundation.
So just quickly to maybe define work-based learning, Jose, would you like to share how you're approaching work-based learning? And then I'd love to hear how Level Up is really embodying work-based learning in our community.
Sure. So we have a specific definition for Santa Fe Public Schools, but ultimately, to paraphrase, it is a high-quality internship program that capstones our pathways. But in the same sense, it also is an equitable opportunity for students that are not in pathways. So it is a unique, high-quality internship program that offers students the hands-on training in the workforce at high school level, junior and senior level, which is an amazing thing to basically apply what they're learning in the classroom in shadow under a professional in a high value career. And the definition of a high value career is high wage, high growth, and high demand.
Thank you, Jose. And Level Up, as it's being developed, really embodies a lot of what you mentioned in terms of opportunities. And in fact, the word mentorship came up early. I'd love for one of our hoteliers to share a little bit more about the Level Up program, how it's gone from like a spark to what really is a little bit of a work-based learning fire.
So what is great about the Level Up program is that we really don't expect or need any pre-qualification, right? In the past, it was always said, oh, you need to go to college, you need to have a college degree to be successful in Santa Fe or New Mexico. We really focus, as the word says, work-based learning, young professionals coming into the industry, into our hotels, right, and learn while they not only work, but also while they make money. And isn't that exciting, right? To combine the good and the bad together. But this is how we all started in the industry, and where I come from in Germany, it's a common practice. Work-based learning is very popular. That's how you grow your level of knowledge and your salary and your profession. So really the benefit of work-based learning is we are providing a job, we're providing a salary, right? And hopefully in the future, we are in talks with the Santa Fe Community College. We are also able to write a curriculum that goes parallel with the work-based learning efforts. Nothing is really necessary to enter the program except commitment and interest in the industry. And Rick, Jose and myself, we have spoken to young professionals in schools, and the feedback is just tremendous. So I think it's an exciting opportunity, and we hope, for me most importantly, we can make this sustainable employment program in Santa Fe.
Can I add something about so the definition of work-based learning? The Future Focused Education Internship Program is called X3, and that stands for Explore, Experience, and Expand. So it's allowing students or young people an opportunity to explore a career path, to really experience what it is before they perhaps go into higher education, and expand their horizon and a network, a professional network. Which is really important to being able to have a vision for what they'd like to do.
So the young professionals who are chosen to be an intern in this program, they'll have an hourly position. They'll work in one of the hotels. It could be hostess, could be front desk, could be busser, could be bellman. We'll determine that once we interview them. But in addition to that, there's an enrichment program where they will sit down with myself once every couple of weeks, food and beverage director once every couple of weeks, my financial controller once every couple of weeks, and they'll learn really what's behind running a hotel and how to make it successful. For example, my food and beverage director may come out with a plate, hamburger and some French fries and such, and he'll say, why does that cost $13? And they'll go through it. It costs $13 because of the ingredients, and there's a percentage that those ingredients make up. That's why it's $13, but there's also the wages for the person who prepared it, for the person who's going to wash the dishes, for the person who sat them in the restaurant. They'll learn that type of thing and understand why, how it's a business. It's not just throwing numbers out there.
In addition, I know that they'll, in addition to the sort of mentorship component, there also will be an employability skill building component. Jose, would you be able to jump in and share a little bit about what are employability skills and how have you addressed ensuring that young people are building them during the course of work-based learning?
Absolutely, thank you, Toby. So some define them as employability skills, others as soft skills or transferable skills. And the way that our program is structured is we actually come in and put on a 2-week boot camp, which essentially prepares a student with identifying what these employability skills are and how they apply to the job. And also they build a resume and set themselves up for an interview. To talk more in depth about how the structure works after the boot camp, these employabilities, we're talking about work ethic, leadership, professionalism, communication, time management, etc. That all of us adults know, we take, it's common sense to us, but these high schoolers, they need to understand what that is and how it applies on the job site as a young professional. So we, again, give them the theory, and then on a weekly basis, we actually are going to meet with them. Myself, and I'm going to meet with our students, and we're going to go dive deep into these employability skills and explain what it means to perform at a high level with leadership and professionalism. And so they can go and apply it and on the job. The other part of this is our mentors have agreed to conduct a survey weekly, at least for the first month, which basically rates these students, how well they're performing on each of these employability skills, which is a great measurement tool. It shows them, it either can humble a person if they think they're doing really well in communication and they need to learn more about it, or it boosts their confidence when they meet with me and talk about, wow, I didn't realize I was doing so well as what my mentor told me. So that structure piece is part of making it a quality experience for everyone involved. So the first month we'll do it weekly, and then thereafter we'll do it bi-weekly and gauge how it's rolling out.
So we've started to touch a little bit on the value proposition of work-based learning. Why bring everyone to the table? Why invest time, money, energy into developing our talent pools and our young people? Lucia, you're working with both employers and young people. So can you speak a little to the value proposition, especially for youth, of taking time out of their summer to participate in something that's more structured than a summer job, and is more along the definition that you have for work-based learning?
Yeah, youth are excited for opportunities. They're hungry for them, and I've found that employers also are really looking for interns. I guess one sort of story I'll tell about a youth who's a graduate of Capitol High. And he is a CIS, a Communities and Schools alum. He's been a student at the community college studying psychology, and he was kind of on the verge of dropping out. During the pandemic, his classes have been online and asynchronous. He wasn't really sure, if this is what it was for him. And he has been able to do an internship at the Children's Museum last summer. And then this spring, he's done an internship at Gerard's House, which works with grieving children, and with me through Communities and Schools. And through these experiences, he's really kind of understood better that his interest is in social work. And he has a network now of other social workers. He's had direct experience, on sites doing work, and is a lot more enthusiastic about that path, and I think more motivated to continue in school and with the goal of getting a 4-year degree and being able to work here, in that area. And he brings a lot. He is bilingual, and that is something that a lot of employers, the Children's Museum, for example, is wanting to be able to connect to Spanish-speaking families. So it has helped them with their workforce. He has desirable skills, and so I think it's been very beneficial for both the employers and interns.
I love how you elevate how some of the characteristics that are really unique to our young people here in New Mexico, language, connection to culture, can really be an asset when brought to work-based learning. And I know that's been a conversation with the hoteliers, with Level Up. Why young people? Why develop our local talent pool? So I'd love for one of our employers to share, what is your value proposition? As employers, you've spent time, money, brought your designees to the table to really shape this as an industry.
Great, yes, Toby. We are very practical, right? If we hire a young person out of state, that's great, right? We do prefer to hire a young person from Santa Fe, simply because for a couple of reasons, right? Even if you're not work experience, right? If you come across a guest in our hotel and the guest says, "Where's Canyon Road?" The person from Santa Fe knows, right? The person that we hired out of state is, okay, let me go and ask. So, there is something to it that is just a practical issue. We also have a desire, once young professionals complete their internships and maybe going into a career, right, in the industry, after they developed certain skills, we want to keep them in Santa Fe, right? And the chances of young professionals that are from Santa Fe that stay here are much higher than someone who comes from California. I have a great example right now in my hotel. Does a great internship program, and after a year, they are going back to California. So it's really practical reasons. We want to sustain our workforce. We want to get a return on the investment we do in training and development, and that's the reason.
For me, obviously, housing issues. To bring somebody in from out of state that doesn't have a base here is very difficult for them to get settled. And I'm hopeful, very hopeful, that some of the young professionals that work with us this summer are going to go back to school in the fall and talk about the experience. And we're going to realize very quickly this summer, it's not servitude, it's not menial labor. This can be an interesting job to start with, and it can also develop into a career. And I really hope that goes out into the young student, high school age students, and results in even more interest in the coming years. This is just the beginning.
And I like the fact that you're talking about careers, and I think often we think of jobs in hospitality. And could you share a little bit, what is the difference? What are the careers that are available to young people in hospitality?
A hotel is a small city, literally a small city. You have got so many different disciplines across the board: human resources, sales, marketing, advertising, food and beverage, obviously, culinary in the kitchen, mechanical, in the case of our hotel, it covers the entire city block, it's 100 years old, there's always something mechanical going on that needs to be addressed. And, you know, they can jump into any one of those areas and learn on the job and really succeed on the job. They don't have to have secondary college education, community college education, where maybe is fantastic. You don't have to have that. If you have a work ethic, you want to assume responsibility, you want to assume and get more authority, you can do it.
And build on that with some of our local programs, like in hospitality management at UNM Taos. And I know that you both are working with Santa Fe Community College to around their hospitality program.
Another thing, I just wanted to add that it is different, an internship model is different than a direct hire, and the mindset is different. So it is about an HR mindset of hiring someone. If there are hiccups along the road, often the response traditionally would be, well, this person can't cut it maybe. And with an internship model, it's really about providing the supports to enable the person to be able to learn from their experience. And so often it takes, you know, there's a longer runway. And sometimes we have employers that want to hire an intern, you know, in the middle of their internship or at the end of one internship. And we encourage them not to, because oftentimes problems arise right after they get hired, because all of a sudden the young person doesn't have the support of our program anymore. And there is a lot that we do as coaches to help students, young people navigate difficult situations in their lives and at the work site. So it's a different lens that I think is really important to think about in terms of creating a longer runway for young people to be prepared
And
to be successful.
Yeah, that being said, as we were working on putting together the internship program and thinking how we're going to roll it out and how we're going to bring those young professionals into our existing workforce, we realized we've got young professionals, high school students working for us now. And so we want to make sure that they can attend also these enrichment programs that we're going to be doing going forward, even if they're not part of the internship. You're right, we don't want to leave them behind and say this high schooler is more important than you. You know, and you've been working here for a year already. So it really kind of opened my eyes, I think, that we probably need to do a better job of growing our people who are already with us as well.
And we've addressed a little bit the role of an employer in a work-based learning ecosystem. And our hospitality industry has done an amazing job of stepping forward to think about providing that mentorship, providing those learning opportunities for our young people. I'd love to turn a minute to the support services and sort of those wraparound services that we know that young people need to be successful. Our employers are providing access to work-based learning, and we know that that isn't enough often for our young people, that they also need that support to be successful. So I'd love for Jose and Lucia to speak to what are some of those supports and what are your organizations are playing slightly different roles in the ecosystem. So what are those supports, and then how are you addressing and providing more?
Sure, I'll go first. So ultimately, the role of a work-based learning coordinator inside of the school district is literally the bridge between education and the workforce. I am basically the communicator or the one point of contact for an employer. I know that there are really successful internship programs that are summer internships that have been approaching our school district for years. And we send students out and it's more of like a who you know type of internship opportunity. We like to call it, we're basically filling the gap of opportunity as well. So just the structure of our internship program being a semester-long internship, I mentioned it earlier, we have a boot camp that we train students. We don't just hand them off to the employer saying, hey, the internship class, come join it, go do the internship for the semester, and we never contact them again, or the employer, there's no accountability there. So that is the critical role of my position. And of course, the responsibilities, again, of training these students and raising the expectation for them. I know that there are some that are high achieving in academics, and there are some that are not so, they're not the sharpest tool in the shed. And we literally raise the level for everyone. We don't care about their background or their education level. We just say, you want an opportunity. Are you motivated to go and learn at work? So we set the expectation high, and like the old saying goes, the rising tide raises all boats. So ultimately, we set that expectation. We talk about opportunity. It's not about who knows who or who knows your mom or dad anymore. It's about you want to go do this work, you get an opportunity to go with one of these amazing executives and their supervisors to learn at this high level about this career opportunity. What a tremendous opportunity for our young people in this community. And we talked about the value proposition. I'll go back to the supports in a minute. It increases these students not only level of thinking, but in other classes and other peers, it's a ripple effect. It raises graduation rates because they want to do work. It makes education meaningful. And it also, again, their peers are really interested in doing it. So it's more are wanting to do this. So that value proposition of raising the education graduation rates is huge for our school district. But also, Lutz mentioned that the value proposition of building a robust workforce here in Santa Fe is what we're about. It's positive economic impact and it's lowering the unemployment rate. As far as continuing with the support system, Lucia mentioned it is a huge amount of support for these young people to talk to their internship teacher, because again, I am the connector with the business partner, and then we have an internship teacher at each of our high schools that meets with our students weekly and gives them these supports of what is it to communicate and listen empathetically on a job site and continue to raise that level throughout the semester. What an incredible opportunity for a young person to go through. We've witnessed it time again, just life-changing experiences for these young people. And again, just to continue on with past what I've already spoke about as far as the structure, we have students come back in the classroom at the last 2 weeks of the semester, and they basically create their story in a presentation format. They also do research on college and what it would take to get into that career. So that support there as well makes it realistic. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay in New Mexico, go to college where it's free now? And maybe my employer is going to support me with the scholarship funding to go get the certificate, for example. Or am I going to compare a cost that's out of state? And am I going to move out of state and really, understand what the life expenses are? So they do that research as well. And they present it in front of a panel. So it's an amazing, amazing opportunity for a student to participate. And that's kind of our role and responsibilities at the Santa Fe Public Schools.
And I'd love for you to share, before you dive into how you support young people, a little bit about your model, because the Atlanta Foundation has worked with employers to develop Level Up from the ground up, from idea to actuality. And for employers who may not have that time, but still want to host young people, Future Focused Education has a little bit different model. So if you could share a bit about that model, and then how, what are some of the supports you feel young people need to be successful?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we try and, as an intermediary, we try and make it as turnkey as possible for employers. So as easy as possible for them to mentor a young person. And that includes, we find the youth and do the interviews and place them. They are on FFE's payroll under our insurance, our timesheet management. So all of those kind of logistics are handled by FFE. There's training for both the mentors and interns at the beginning of the internship. Then the interns create a learning plan, which identifies a few skills that they want to work on, either soft skills or industry-specific skills. There's a midpoint site visit where both the mentor and the intern fill out a survey, doing an evaluation of those learning goals and progress. And then there's a final exhibition. So a lot of things that are similar to what you're doing in the schools. And then as a coach, I'm meeting periodically with interns throughout the internship to check in. And the different supports are things like, sometimes there are transportation issues. Someone's car breaks down. We're dealing with more poor youth in the city. That's our focus, working with communities and schools. And so there are real challenges that come up, and we help work with students to overcome those. A lot are communication skills, dealing with any kind of conflict at the work site. And then a lot thinking about how to link the experience, reflect on the experience that they're having at the workplace, and then thinking about long-term goals. So trying to think about what the next steps are for a career path.
I would like to add something that you mentioned, which is very important for business partners that are trying to partner with the public sector and our public schools. Insurance. For a business partner, I'm a former business owner as well, and that was the first thing that we needed to address is who's going to provide liability or medical accident insurance for these students out in the workforce, and we have that as well. So that is a huge deal for our support system.
One other aspect of our program is, which is a little bit different, and answers questions about sustainability, is that we ask employers to contribute financially to the internships. Sometimes we have grant subsidies that can help, but we're really asking employers to make an investment, a financial investment in this. It is part of creating a sustainable infrastructure. And since we're a 501c3, that contribution can be tax deductible. So that's an interesting aspect of our model.
You mentioned sustainability, and that also has come up in the Level Up project. What are some of the elements that you feel would contribute to not only in building the work-based learning ecosystem and bringing employers to the table and bringing students, but actually sustaining this over time? What's needed?
Success. We need to have some students come into the program and make it a career, move to that next level. And I think we can. I mean, we try to promote from within wherever possible, but we have to go outside and bring new people in as well. So if somebody comes in and shows their aptitude, shows the interest, they can go as far as they want, and I think that will jumpstart it for others to join, down the road.
I love that, Rick, and I also believe that the structure has to come into place. So as Lucia mentioned it, maybe Lutz as well. Employers really want something that they don't have to do a lot of the work, only the training that they are doing in order for like an employee, for example, which is already in their process. We actually vet students as well. So, I mean, we don't want to send a student out there that is not prepared, but also just is somebody that an employer may have to babysit, for example. We want to make sure we send out the students that are motivated. So we have that vetting process early on with an application, for example, and they actually interview with the employer, so they get a feel for them right away. So I think that system that we bring to the table from the public schools is going to make a lot of employers very happy, as far as Lucia mentioned about maybe not encouraging them to hire. I say we encourage employers to hire them because we want them to be their next workforce.
Not that they never had to hire them, just that there's a time, yeah.
They get to finish their art, their internship art.
I also think sustainability means to look beyond just the hospitality industry. I mean, we are here all very selfish because, we all experience the labor shortage that there is. But truthfully, the labor shortage is in every industry, not only in Santa Fe, it's in the US, it's worldwide. So what we are ready to do is to prepare a blueprint of our work and share it with other industries, right? So they don't have to start from scratch like we did 7 months ago maybe. And it's a agenda of how we can get young professionals into any industry quick and efficient moving forward.
I think Jose was so great when we went to Lutz and I went to Capitol High with you, and you just have a way of talking to the students that I admired. And I remember you stood up and you said, if you want a job, summer job, with some cash in your pocket, you can do that. But if you want to grow and learn, check out the internship. And I think that resonated with some of the students as well. Someone who just want a job, and that's fine too. They don't have to take part in the full internship program, but you really reach them, I could tell. And I think it's going to be a great success having you in the schools.
I I just wanted to add, and I don't know if you want to talk about this, but the Lano Foundation has developed a toolkit for employers. And Toby, it'd be great to hear you talk about that because it's very thorough and impressive.
Yes, so the Lano Foundation has invested in designing a toolkit to help employers who want to begin a work-based learning or an internship program in their organization. And it really it begins with this idea of visioning all the way to implementation and even conclusion. What makes the Lano Foundation toolkit a little different is it's grounded in principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in a landscape scan, there weren't other toolkits that really elevated how to ensure that our internships are meeting the needs of our diverse young people from all of our communities here in New Mexico. So that is soon to be up on the website and on the presses. And what's important for employers to know is that there's many entry points. You can use the toolkit to do it yourself. You can work within your industry. You can do it as unique organizations. You can call Future Focused Education to have the turnkey model. You can reach out to Jose to talk about a partnership with the Santa Fe schools. But I think over the course of this panel, we've really heard about the values that work-based learning has to young people, to employers, but there's also these system values. And Jenny, not to put you on the spot, but a lot of what the Lano Foundation does is really work to strengthen the connectivity of our systems in northern New Mexico. Could you share a few things that the foundation's doing at a systems level to help with not just work-based learning, but engaging our young people and engaging our employers to create our stronger economy?
Yeah, I do think that for education especially, it's not just up to the schools. It's not just up to parents. It's not just up to the city. It's up to all of us to make sure that our schools are as strong as they can be and that we're all supporting young people. They need us. They need all of us to be supporting them. And so at the Lano Foundation, we have a lot of sort of overlapping circles. We have a scholarship program. We try to place those scholars in internships, paid internships. We have early childhood program and department, and we look to see where are those, if you invest in the early years, so many of the problems you see with some of our youth when they're older don't exist because you really provided good support for children when they're babies and for families. We do a lot of things in our K-12 arena too, to make sure that our students are supported, our teachers are supported. And we really try to look at systems work as well as individual program work. And so, for example, with the career community college pathways work, we're working with other funders. We have a collaborative there to try to share what we're working on and collaborate on what we're working on, partner on what we're working on. We've also worked with the community college and with employers and other nonprofits to do sort of a landscape assessment of what are the work-based learning opportunities in Santa Fe. Could we apply for a federal grant to help provide funding so that employers have a funding source to hire students? But it's all towards having a vibrant Santa Fe with engaged people who love their community and can work here. We see so many kids who want to stay here and they don't think they can stay here for a career. And so that's one of our big objectives is to make sure that there's a vibrant economy here, that kids can stay. It's a wonderful place to live, as we all know. So this is going to be a big part of helping do that.
And there's some partners who are part of this that are not here today. We've worked with Help New Mexico that works with a lot of our opportunity youth. We've spoken with YouthWorks, Santa Fe Indian School, Hotel Santa Fe. So we have other elements of our community that are coming together to help build this ecosystem to provide opportunities, both for employers who want to build their talent pool and talent pipeline, as well as for young people.
Oh, and I don't know, have we mentioned Four Seasons? Because they're one of the core partners.
Yes, Greg mentioned them coming in.
Okay.
And one thing that I appreciate about all the hoteliers is that they're open to working with in-school youth, with opportunity youth. It really is about young people coming with passion and determination and persistence to be part of this program. So what I'm interested in from everyone, we've heard about your roles, your sort of professional approach, but what is really like exciting or engaging about this work for you? Why are you, like, what fires you up about this work?
For me, again, coming from business, understanding their mentality, getting to work with CEOs and executives around the community, I love that, but I also love working with the youth. It's just one of those natural abilities to connect with them. So for me, it's a dream job, really, being the work-based learning coordinator. And I'm in it for the infinite game here. You know, my role is what it is. We're developed a system. You know, it's turnkey, like I mentioned, but you know, I have young boys that are 6, 4, 3, and 1, and I want them to have an opportunity to intern at a high-level career as they get into junior or senior year with our public schools. So that's what I'm developing it for. It's more than just impacting our youth at this moment, and which it's going to do, like I said, amazing things for our current students, but we want this thing to be sustainable for the long-term future.
Like that you've given us a few years to get it really developed, which has worked out. Thank you, Jose.
I like to say that, you know, similar to La Fonda and Four Seasons, we are very successful hotel, right? And it's very important to us to give back to the community we are operating in, right? And we don't want to be some faraway business that is not connected. We are deeply rooted within the Santa Fe community. And this is not only about providing a consistent stream of local labor force to the industry, but it's also to be part of a bigger picture. And that is, you know, we see Santa Fe growing, we see Santa Fe developing. We don't need to be having a bad score in education in the country. We need to have the best education in the country. We have all the resources, we have all the partners. We just, you know, like Jenny said, we need to come together and do it. And I can't see why not.
Well, I'm passionate about hands-on education. I was someone who my past part of my career was in film production, and that was largely, you know, learning on the job. And so that speaks to me, the excitement of learning, doing while doing. And then I am passionate about overcoming equity issues in Santa Fe, and I see this as a really powerful way to help young people be able to transition into careers that will be, you know, financially rewarding and also something that will give them passion in their lives. So, and that all young people deserve that opportunity.
For me, you know, regretfully, when you become a general manager of a hotel, you end up being desk bound more than you want to be. For me, the joy is getting out and talking to our guests, and this will give me a chance to unplug and sit down with some of our young professionals, take a little bit of time out of my day to share, and like I said, pay back what a mentor helped me with early in my career. So I'm really looking forward to that, and then seeing them hopefully embrace that and move up. That would be the ultimate reward.
This is what makes me excited. I love to see collaboration. And also, as Lucia said, I feel like the opportunity for our kids is really important, and all of Santa Fe kids deserve to have a great life and choices and a great career. And so anything we can do to help make that happen makes me really happy.
Do we have until 4 or till 3:45? 3:45. All right. So we have.
Do we have any?
What?
Good question.
Do we have any Zoom questions?
We have not so far. So if we are successful in not only engaging our hospitality industry, but expanding to other employers, bringing young people to the table, really paying attention to equity and inclusion, what do we imagine would be different as a result of having a thriving work-based learning ecosystem here in Santa Fe and northern New Mexico? This is the last question, so.
I think it's mad that we should say when we're successful, because I think we're gonna be wildly successful this go around with the investment from the employers mostly, and just a systematic approach from Lionel Foundation, connecting your toolkit, connecting the public schools. It is a model that everyone can utilize in our community, and just going forward into the future. Again, this is not just a summer thing that we're looking at here. We're looking for all of the industries that are in Santa Fe to partner with us, the public schools, and Lionel Foundation, and again, the ecosystem that Toby had mentioned, in order to create something that leads the state really in work-based learning. I think Santa Fe is the perfect community because of its creative community, its arts, it's incredible with all of the industries that are. I'm just learning more and more as like daily on how much there is to offer for a young person in this community as far as a career. So
I think midterm, the program will help to connect the kids again to the community, something that we should work on for the next years. And, you know, the paid internships that we provide will help not only to have those kids back connected back to the community, but also make money and you know, increase wealth in the state and within the families of New Mexico.
I think, you know, when we're successful in turning students into young professionals, that'll be the marker. And I've told a story about I wanted to be a veterinarian, flunked chemistry. I didn't know where my life was going to go, and I bet there's a lot of students out there that have no clue what they're going to do. I know there are. If we can reach some of those and bring them into the hospitality industry or other positions along the way, then it's success.
Yeah, I kind of envision what Lutz, you were saying exists in Germany, where this is another avenue for career and higher education, another avenue that say most employers in Santa Fe could participate in, and most youth could see this as a path, that, you know, everyone would have an internship or a couple internships that would help them on their way.
And I'll just add that when this is successful, if it's wildly successful, we will no longer be a state with one of the highest percentages of youth who are not in school and unemployed, but instead we'll have a vibrant work community, and they'll be able to be in jobs that are meaningful and provide a livable wage.
I love ending on that transformational note. We're really not just speaking of a summer gig, we're speaking of an opportunity that can help transform and shift the trajectories of our young people. I'd like to thank everyone that came here today on this panel, but even more than the hour you've spent here, I'd love to thank each and every one of you for the role that you play in the work-based learning ecosystem and all of the opportunities that you're providing for young people, either as employers or as supports or as connectors.
And we want to thank our audience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Real quick plug, if you're interested in the Level Up program, you can come to La Fonda at 10 a.m. this Saturday, and you will get an idea, a hands-on idea of what this is all about. You'll get to learn more about the hospitality industry and opportunities. So grab your children or grab your parents, come by yourself. La Fonda at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think you need an